When most people think of Sega, they think of the little blue blur.
Meow?
However, cast your minds back a couple of decades and Sega was known for a lot more than just Sonic the Hedgehog. Now to those devout fans, obviously Sega is still a lot more to you now, but to those of you who are of the less hardcore variety, let me enlighten you. Welcome to Crazy Taxi, a game developed by Hitmaker, published by Sega, and also ported by acclaimed PlayStation and GameCube, and also Windows. So it's been around the block a few times, it's safe to say. Crazy Taxi first appeared in arcades in 1999 and was ported to the Dreamcast in 2000. Since then, Crazy Taxi has been on PlayStation 2, GameCube, Windows PCs, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, iOS, and Android. Honestly, it's a surprise it hasn't shown up on any current gen or even previous gen consoles yet, but at least you can play it on your phone, and you can still buy it on Steam. Now, just to give you a quick premise, the main objective of the game is literally to take customers to their chosen destination as quickly as possible, and obviously as crazily as possible as well. You get bonus points / fare for driving like an absolute psychopath.
Maniac. 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 Yobbo. Maniac.
So, drive however you want. I would absolutely love to have the whole soundtrack of the game playing throughout this video, but it is by The Offspring and a few other bands, and I will immediately get copyrighted straight away, so you're just gonna hear some main menu music and some other retro-y kind of sounds. Crazy Taxi went on to spawn numerous sequels and spin-offs, including a game called Crazy Taxi Tycoon, which honestly sounds like that's a whole video in itself. However, today we're not here to look at the sequels or spin-offs, we're here to look at the clones. Yep, that's right, the games that push the boundary of being a rip-off, or were just rip-offs, but for the sake of kindness, we'll call them clones. Stop! Haha, I bet you all thought I was going to start with Simpson's Road Rage. Well, we'll come to that later. Oh god. Our first game is London Taxi Rush Hour. Developed by Metro 3D Europe for the PlayStation 2 and PC, and Data Design Interactive for Wii. Interestingly, the PS2 and PC versions are only available in Europe. These launched in 2006, but the Wii version came a hell of a lot later in 2008 and launched worldwide, and hopefully no one worldwide played it at all because this game is in fact f***ing shit. All this game really reminds me of is that animated horror Taxi.
Hello, governor. Holy crap, it's real!
Anyway, this game is absolute garbage, I won't lie to you. The controls are horrendous, the game looks ugly as anything considering it launched in 2006. The reviews reflect this as well. On Metacritic, the game scored 2 out of 10 overall. It only has one review, and the summary is, "We hate it because the graphics are Etch-a-Sketch standard and the load times are outrageous." And I will confirm that, having played it for 10 minutes, 5 of those 10 minutes I spent loading. It's horrendous, absolutely horrendous, and I'm not touching the Wii version for even for the sake of research. It can go do one.
You fucking...
Please kill me. That poor man. I hope someone does kill him.
Yes, that's right, we are going to look at Simpson's Road Rage. We couldn't make a video on Crazy Taxi clones and not look at the Simpsons Taxi game. I'm honestly convinced there's more people that know what Simpsons Road Rage is than there's people that know what Crazy Taxi is, and that causes me physical and mental pain. Anyway, Simpsons Road Rage was developed by Radical Entertainment and published by EA, and released in 2001 for the PS2 and 2002 for Xbox and GameCube. Well, at least if you were in Europe. It came out in 2001 everywhere else for all platforms. There was also a version for Game Boy Advance that followed along in 2003 that was slightly different, but we won't be looking at this one, we're just looking at the base console version. Now, essentially the plot is Mr. Burns buys all the transit systems in Springfield and turns them into nuclear buses that threaten public health for some reason, like that guy who said he wanted to die at that first clip. So because of this, Homer decides it's time to become a transport service, and all the citizens follow suit. And that's literally the game. The rest is just Crazy Taxi gameplay of driving people to somewhere else very fast. And the moment you've all been waiting for, Sega actually sued Radical Entertainment and Electronic Arts for patent infringement. They were that mad that EA and Radical copied their formula, they decided to sue. Now, this never actually made it to the courts. It was settled beforehand, but I just find it funny that the next game that Radical and EA launched with The Simpsons was just like a GTA clone, so I would imagine that the court hearing would have looked something like this.
I'm sitting here, I'm just itching. I'm itching to do it again, and you think what? You think you're gonna send me to a nut house? Some doctor, they're gonna get me to stop from doing what I want to do? Well, that ain't happening!
Anyway, nostalgia aside, Simpsons Road Rage, as a game, it's fine, I guess. Having just gone back to it to play it for this video, it's not the fun I remember it being, but it's still a good time. Now, the controls are a little bit sensitive for my liking, like, it does make it a little bit more challenging just to steer around corners and stuff, because you very well could just overturn straight away into a wall. And the hit detection is a little bit off as well. You could find yourself turning a corner and clip into something that you literally can see you haven't touched, but the game thinks it's there. So that's kind of irritating. The place this game shines is the fact that it's The Simpsons. So it's funny. The character voice lines are funny. The few cutscenes are also funny. So that's the main thing this game has going for it. So if you're a Simpsons fan, you should absolutely play this game. If you're only playing it because you're like, oh, Crazy Taxi, then just stick with Crazy Taxi, to be honest with you. Overall, the game scored fine. The highest scored version was the GameCube version, which got 67 out of 100 on Metacritic, with the PS2 version, which is the version you've seen, 64 out of 100. So, not bad, not great, just kind of mid. Anyway, moving on. Anyway, moving forward in time to a much more recent Crazy Taxi clone, to 2021. Now, this is described as a spiritual successor to Crazy Taxi, but I wouldn't want to call it that. This feels more like a stomp on Crazy Taxi's grave. Taxi Chaos, released in 2021, it was developed by Team 6 Game Studios and released for Switch, PS4 and Xbox One. Now, Orange One published the Switch version and Lion Castle published all the others. It is interesting to note that Team 6 initially stated that Sega would be involved in the distribution of Taxi Chaos, in Asia specifically, but Sega denied this. Although this time Sega didn't take them to court over it, so I guess baby steps. Now obviously the basic premise is exactly the same as Crazy Taxi, except nothing in this game feels crazy, nor does it feel chaotic like this game says it's supposed to. It feels a lot slower. The only thing this game has kind of going for it is the graphics look kind of nice, but it is a modern game, so like, what do we expect? There's no charm to it, the music's awful, the dialogue is cringe, and the gameplay just isn't that good. It doesn't play well, everything is just painfully mid. Mid experience leading to a boring game. It's just not fun. It's like Crazy Taxi for like toddlers, basically. And funnily enough, reviewers agreed. The average score, the Xbox One version scored alright, 59 out of 100, the Switch version 52, and the PS4 version brutally got knocked down to 44 out of 100. The Steam user reviews are currently sat at only 40% positive, and I'm going to make sure that goes down even further with my review as well. Fuck you, Taxi Chaos. You're not a spiritual successor, you're just a joke.
Buddy, you think you look strong? You're wearing a cape. You're just a cheap fucking knockoff.
Oh dear God. We reached the final game of our Crazy Taxi clone video, and it's going to end on a whimper, I can't lie. This is Super Taxi Driver 2006, and as you can see, it doesn't look very good. Oddly enough, this game was also developed by Team 6 Game Studios, who brought us the really good Taxi Chaos, but they also have 7 other games under their belt with the name Taxi in the title, so these guys have been at it for a long ass time. Now this wasn't sued by Sega again because they avoided the patent, because the patent is licensed in America, they only released it in Europe. So Sega had no ground to stand on. Poor them. This game is actually so bad it doesn't have any reviews on Metacritic or user reviews. It has a page, it's just completely empty and there is nothing there. And that's the legacy it should leave behind it. Forgotten, not played, no reviews. That's how we like it. And that takes us to the end of our journey through the clones of Crazy Taxi. Now my advice to you all is to simply just play Crazy Taxi and not the others. Maybe Road Rage at a push, but do not touch the others. As always, thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, tap the bell for notifications. Really helps out and keep making stupid videos about taxis and stuff like that. Anyway, I shall see you all in next week's video. Bye-bye.
Monday left me broken.